Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 2 of Lessons My Son Taught Me. We made it. We made it to another season.
Yeah.
And let's jump right in, shall we? So, once again, my name is Natasha,
I'm Quincy.
and we are so glad that you all are joining us for our second season. What am I doing? Our second season. We had such a phenomenal first season.
Yeah.
And if we're being completely transparent, um, technically we're still in the middle of our first season. We have begun recording season 2, and we've published about 4 episodes right now.
Yeah.
But this is the way we have to work because we know that prior proper planning prevents
His poor performance.
all day, every day. And um, man, what a whirlwind season 1 was. And let me tell y'all, we had no idea what we were doing season 1. We still kind of don't. We're just rocking with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that we jumped in like both feet, maybe not even both feet, probably head first.
It was definitely first,
Head first with season 1. We recorded those first 3 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
How many days, Quincy?
Excuse me? What?
How many days?
Oh, yeah, it was.
I need you to be with me.
Yeah, I know. 3 days.
In one day.
In one day.
Okay, so in one day, 3 episodes in one day. The first episode that we recorded, we really didn't feel like, well, I didn't feel like it had like the charisma,
exactly.
the mojo. And Quincy was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, no, I look fat. You ain't have to laugh that hard. I look fat. I don't like my hair. We're going to record it on another day. It was late. Yeah. So, what you see in our very first episode was our second take of episode 1. But once we did that take, oh baby, we did it all the way through.
Yeah.
We did it all the way through. But because we were pressed for time, we had to change clothes and hair. Yeah. And we recorded episode 2. Once we were done with that, we changed clothes and hair and we recorded episode 3. So not for nothing, by the time episode 3 came about, it was like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was really late.
I was tired. If you look at our clothes, they were more like comfortable and lax. I had on my Young Dolph shirt. Shout out to Young Dolph, long live Dolph. Yeah. That Quincy got me. And it just looked a teeny bit sloppy according to like my standards. But we were tired. But we did that. We pulled it off. We recorded all 6 episodes of season 1 across 2 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
The original plan was to do it across 3, but we ended up doing it 3 episodes each in 2 days. Never again.
No.
Okay. And but episode 1 was so well received. What did your friends and family say about episode 1?
They really liked it. It was really like strange at first. I try not to like look at things that I'm in because it feels like awkward. But no, yeah, it was really well received. All my family loves it. Friends of family, they love it, and my friends, they like just hearing me, or just seeing me, do something that's not school related. So, it's cool. It's cool. It's nice.
Yeah. And so when we aired that first episode, it was Memorial Day. It was Monday, May 27th, 2024.
Yeah.
And boom. We hadn't told anybody that we were working on it because we had literally just decided we were going to do it a month prior. But we were like, if we're going to do this, we need to have a quick turnaround time because we're both very busy.
Yeah.
You know, I got a schedule out of this world. My son has a schedule out of this world, even at 17. And we both live by agendas. So we're like, okay, when do we have time to record? It ain't going to be during the summer. So we went ahead and I created a schedule rather in which we would get all of the episodes recorded in the month of May. So that way, by the time school let out, we could enjoy our trip to Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands. I was going to be working during the summer. He was going to be working during the summer and traveling. So much travel. But I remember we premiered the first episode. Lots of positive feedback. Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
My mom, shout out to Am, must have watched it at least 20 times. And you know, that was special how much she enjoyed it and supported it. But it was really the people who didn't know us, who didn't know Quincy, who spoke to how kind and compassionate you were, who extended me grace for my behavior and commended me for holding myself accountable, that I was appreciative of. That resonated with me. It was the people who said stuff like, you know, because I sat down with my son and watched your podcast, and afterwards we ended up talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, no, yeah. That means a lot.
That meant so much. So, dropped the episode on Memorial Day, which was a Monday. Not a lot of people know this. The next day, I moved. Yeah. I moved. So we're in the middle of, you know, we've jumped headfirst into this podcast venture. Yeah. The next day, I wasn't planning on moving until months down later in the year, but May 28th moved. Who helped me move? It was me, Q, and a close colleague of mine from school, just the three of us. And it was when I was returning the truck at Home Depot. We were coming back from the dropping off the truck, and we were in the parking lot, and I was reading this email in which this woman was just commending Quincy and I, and I burst into tears. I mean, boo-hoo crying in the middle of the parking lot. And Quincy was like, "It's okay, it's okay, Mama." And I'm like, "We're making a difference." Like, what? Oh my gosh! But it was just so special, and I was like so grateful that we had gotten started, even though we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. I felt compelled to do it. And a couple of times I almost talked myself out of doing it. But it felt like I needed to just kind of like push forward.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right?
That's the only way.
So, I mean, do you have any feelings? Like, granted, we're not done showing all the episodes. We have about 2 more episodes left to air for season 1, including a special episode, which we won't give away. Yeah. But what are your thoughts and feelings? I've done so much talking.
I mean, no, it was so fast, you know, but honestly, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like doing things fast, being consistent and not like thinking is really the only way that it was able to get done. If we thought about it too much, you know, that would have been overthinking would have led to one thing and another. But I feel like also seeing, you know, based off of the feedback that we got from our first episode, It was definitely like a little kick of motivation to help us realize, that we're actually helping people, and to show us that, we should keep going. So that's really all I got to say. It was really fun.
Yeah, and you know what? It was really special for us because our relationship is already special, which everyone has noted and seen and witnessed. This is how we interact on a regular basis. The only difference now is we're putting a camera in front of us and we're sharing it with people.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's just kind of how we wanted to start this season. Just sharing a little bit of insight as to what all went into that first season, that first episode, especially because it's cray to record 3 episodes in one sitting.
Yeah.
And baby, she not gonna do it again. She not. She won't. Get somebody else to do it. But we starting off with with an ironic lesson. With an ironic lesson that my son taught me, because this episode is titled the lesson in which he taught me is how to humble myself. So ironically enough, the night of that first episode premiering, my son and I, at least from my perspective, experienced the first tense disagreement I feel like we've ever had. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
In which I really wanted him to do something. I felt like I was sort of in the right, or I didn't understand what he didn't understand, and he gave me a little bit of pushback. I'll let you recap it first from what you recall.
Yeah, it was about a baseball game that was happening. You were going to go on a trip, a school trip, with some of your students, and you wanted me to come along with you because simply like this is the only baseball game this is the first baseball game that you've ever been to, and we haven't done anything like that before. So
together,
yeah. So you just wanted to go with me because even though it would be your first baseball game, you wanted to experience it with me because that would make it all the more special. And I really wanted to go, but I had a prior engagement, where I volunteer, and it was the last day of volunteering before school got out, and I really wanted to help. Well, I help kids,
as if he's not a kid himself. I help kids.
I help them study, or sometimes just communicate, bond, do games, and it's really fun. So I didn't really want to miss that last day. So it was kind of like a scale on, which one I should do. And ultimately, I really wanted to do the volunteering. Yeah. So,
if I'm not mistaken, it was the second to last.
Second to last day, yeah.
Okay.
Second to last day.
But, so here's where the dilemma came in, right? The dilemma came in where I wanted my son to attend the baseball game. It was a Nationals game. They were playing the Mets. And, we're right next to Washington, D.C., so that's the home team, Nationals. And he had at first said to me, well, it's the end of the quarter. I want to end the quarter strong. And I'm like, dude, you got like all A's and 1 B plus. Like, you good. You got room. And he was like, yeah, but I want to end the quarter strong. And I'm like, bruh, like, I've never been to a baseball game. You have. I would love for you to come with me. Here is where I, perhaps guilt tripped him, and I shouldn't have. I mentioned, and I realized that as soon as I mentioned him, and I was like, because you realize where you're wrong when you start to hear your parents, or you know what I'm saying? So as I said to him, it's the least you could do, right? Because what that's then telling him is, I do so much for you, you owe me. Well, technically, by law, I gotta feed, clothe, and shelter him because I had him, right? Mm-hmm. I ain't drop him off on nobody's doorstep. Mm-hmm. I ain't drop him off at the fire station. So it's something that, especially in the African American community, you should be grateful. I've done so much for you. You owe me this. Yeah. And while all of that is true, I do provide for him. Those are the bare necessities. I have a really great kid. It's not like he was like, Ma, I don't want to go because I'm trying to go to some party. He literally wanted to do what he could to make sure like that the final grades that got turned in were top notch, and he still wanted to attend the second to last volunteering opportunity. Yeah. Um oh yeah, the second to last volunteering opportunity. And he had said, I already helped you move the week prior and I missed time with them that Tuesday. So I saw where he was coming from, but I was also hurt. I was so hurt that me, with my short temper, I became angry. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I really became angry. And y'all know I'm a blocker by nature. Not saying that I blocked him, but I was like, I can't wait for him to turn 18 because then he qualifies for blocking. I promise y'all, I'm not going to do that. I have really, really kind of realized that I don't have to block people in order to communicate my discomfort. Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with my homegirl, shout out to Meredith, and she really helps me with my shadow work, believe it or not. She was like, you're not angry, you're sad. So why are you sad? And so I was like, okay, why am I sad? Why am I sad? And I was like, and then all of a sudden, it's like I became young Tosh, little Tosh. And I was like, because he doesn't want to like go to the baseball game with me. Not like, I'm cool, I'm the fun mom. It was more like, I enjoy experiencing things with you. Mm-hmm. And so I was hurt that it didn't feel like a priority for you to want to or desire strongly to experience something like that with me. Yeah. And so selfishly, I'm thinking from my perspective only. And I think I in turn communicated that to him, right? Mm-hmm. And he gave, right? He was like, well, why didn't you start with that? He did, y'all. And I was like, oh. But he's just like, like communicate that to me, whoop-de-woo, and we'll be fine. But by the next day, I felt really bad. Like I've essentially guilted him successfully into coming with me to this stupid baseball game. I already know I'm not going to like the game. I already know. And I ain't never been to a baseball game. Mm-hmm. And he's been to like a couple. Mm-hmm. So I let him know the next morning, you know what, I'm so grateful that you decided to come with me to the game, but I'm not going to hold you to it. I really respect that you want to go volunteer and you want to like finish the quarter strong. So you go do that. Yeah. Plus, we're going to get back late from DC and I don't want you driving late and going to school the next morning. Like, don't even worry about it. And you know what, y'all? At the same time, he was like, you know what? I was going to tell you, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I was okay with that. But all in all that to say, that really humbled me. Q humbled me. Meredith helped humble me. And it just goes to show you how the way we process our emotions sometimes they're misguided or misdirected. I don't know how to articulate that.
Yeah, I mean, we're human.
Where I thought I was really angry, I was really just sad.
Yeah.
I was really just hurt because I care about spending so much time with you and I enjoy spending time with you. Don't get it twisted. Not that I'm one of your little friends, but he one of mine. He one of mine. You know what I'm saying? But knowing that, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, no, I felt really honestly like I felt bad, because when you said that, it's your first baseball game, and even though it was a baseball game, like me and you, we don't like baseball, right? But what you said about what you had said about even if something we don't like, you having gone with me would have made it 10 times more special. And honestly, I agreed with that. Like and I was like, I could at least give her this, like, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't happy with my school, or not school, but I wasn't happy with, my grades at the time.
He wasn't happy with one of his courses in which he had like a B or B
It was like
plus.
a B minus.
A B minus. Which is fair because guess what? I've instilled in him to strive, not just be basic. So that's also on me. I raised a good kid. I mean, a kid that strives to be the best. And here I was contradicting myself, like, no, you can relax. The B is okay for now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I decided to make that decision, but I also knew that this wouldn't be the only time that an opportunity like this would come up. With traveling with you to Ecuador and the Galapagos, helping you move, and visiting Papa, I knew that we'd have various moments to have more interact, more of a connection. So I knew it wasn't like the end all be all, but
yeah. So in hindsight, it was very selfish of me, but it really humbled me because I thought so much of me and everything that I've done for you, or everything that I assume myself to be to you. I'm like, I'm his mom. He loves me. And what kid wouldn't jump at the chance to go to a baseball game in the middle of the week with his mom? I'm not like other moms. I'm a cool mom. I hate that. Like, come on, Tasha. Like, let's be effing for real. Let's be effing for real, okay? And if Q, if I'm not one of Q's little friends, but Q's one of mine, like, I need to get a life, right? I need to get a life. A little bit or a lot of it. So, shout out to Meredith, who kind of helped walk and talk me through that situation. My line sister Deja, and even my close colleague Faith. It really is and was a lesson that I've learned from Quincy, that even though I am someone important in your life, and I'm always going to be, I'm not the center. The world doesn't revolve around me, I understand that. But the world doesn't revolve around me as it relates to you. And I think that's what is a little bit new for me to grasp. New of a concept, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, totally. I have friends, and they have parents who, and parents are so special to children, not only in the way that they, bring them up and raise them and influence them, and children get all these traits from their parents, but also in the way that when you do that to a child and when you are such an influence to them, it feels like, you know, parents are owed something. And don't get me wrong, you know, when I get rich, which I will, I'm going to reimburse you and dad and mom.
That is not the purpose.
Yeah, but still.
That is not the purpose. There's no running tab on your life, because hear me when I say you didn't ask to be here, right? You were brought here. You are mine and your father's responsibility. And essentially, you are our gift to the world. You will be responsible for yourself. You do not owe us anything, price wise, monetary wise, nothing. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
We will be grateful for whatever you decide to help us with in the future, but I don't ever want you to feel beholden to paying us back, because that was what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to provide you with bare necessities in terms of resources and opportunities, love, time, and affection.
Yeah, and I mean, I completely understand that, but like, not to be deep or whatever.
No, go ahead, be deep.
Yeah, not to
go
be
ahead,
deep,
be deep with it.
And like, in this like world, I guess, you know, it's so rare to be a human. You know, out of all the possibilities in the world, I am who I am because of you, dad, mom, my stepmom. You guys have all kind of put things into a mixing pot to make me, you know, even though you said I didn't choose to be born, I was still born. Absolutely. Out of all, you know, the kids you could have possibly had, I was still born. And I get a chance to do something here in reality, in like this world. And I'm forever grateful. So it's not the fact that I feel the need to reimburse you because of what you've done. It's the fact that I want to, you know?
Come on, Quincy James.
So, yeah.
I respect that. I respect it and I appreciate it. I know I'm grateful to you, your father, you know, Alicia's grateful. And you have just been a complete joy to everyone who has experienced you and helped raise you and witnessed you grow up. It has been an absolute pleasure. So, you know, it's good, you know, but it's still, you know, we're going to see how good it can get. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So, well, I love you, Quincy.
I love you too, Mama.